Well, friend, who the heck are you?
I'm Dave Patterson. I work part-time for St George's Crypt and also part-time for Unity and Poverty Action.
Now, you are a busy man. Tell me what you're doing tonight. You're doing something special in Leeds tonight. Tell me about that.
We're taking a load of students from St George's Church out to visit different projects. So there's hopefully going to be about 50 of them. And each student goes on one tour. There's going to be 5 tours throughout the night. And each student will visit 2 or 3 projects within the evening. So,
and what's the purpose? Why are you doing that? Why are you giving them such exposure?
I think it's really important to raise awareness of what Christians are doing out on the front line in places like this. So we'll be coming around, one of the tours is to here. But I think it's really important that as Christians we look out and look at what's already going on and not reinvent the wheel. And yeah, try and support ongoing work really that's already happening.
Now, you're working with the margins of society. Is the church relevant to the rest of society? Are we actually cutting the mustard?
Cutting the mustard? I think we are doing some fantastic work across Leeds, across the country, across the world. And yeah, we've got strengths, we've got weaknesses, you know, and I think we need to work on our strengths and our weaknesses. I think the church can reach places that can't be reached by anyone else. So a key thing you might see is how church buildings, even if the church has disbanded, there's still a church building in a very marginalised area. And it's great when church buildings can be used for good. It's great when inner city churches can connect with those, you know, who are on the margins. One of the tours this evening is going to East End Park. And this is a guy called Andrew Grinnell who runs a kind of church plant out in East End Park, doing fantastic work with some of the most poorest people in Leeds. The poorest part of Leeds is the east of Leeds. And yeah, he does a fantastic job living out there, getting alongside people. They gather twice a week to eat with the people there, and he does a fantastic job. But I think that Christians can reach places that others can't, and I think that's a huge strength.
Can we only be relevant by providing social care and social services?
No, not at all. I think it's great when we can tell people about the love of Jesus, when we can pray for people, when we can engage in... One of the biggest challenges the church faces is engaging in ongoing discipleship. So if someone becomes a Christian or wants to know more, what do we do next? And integration into church is a huge battle. So I spend a lot of time trying to look at ways in which we can integrate people into what are generally quite white middle-class churches. And that is a huge challenge. But I don't think it's just all about social care. I think Christians tend to vary in their priorities, and I think we should respect that. But I think there's a great place to get alongside people, pray for people, preach at people like you've just done, you know, or not at people, but, you know, share the good news of Jesus. And yeah, we want to see more people becoming Christians, but we also want to know what we do next. And I think it's one of the biggest challenges that the church faces is ongoing discipleship. So. Could
we share the Bible in a better way than we are doing, preachers in particular?
There's so many different preachers. So the ones that I think some will be doing a great job. I think what we could do is when we're sharing it with people who use facilities like St George's Crypt. I think there's room to do things differently. In some cases, I've got a guy up at Regent's Terrace. This is our wet hostel, so that the guys are allowed to drink there. And I've started giving him one Bible verse on a piece of paper. And that is something that is connecting with him, and he can think about that. And that's just something a bit fresh and a bit new. But I'm not against people preaching and using modern technology. I think there's a great place to do that. You've just given a very good, you know, little talk on 2 Corinthians. So,
thanks, mate.
You know, that's all right. You're interviewing.
Listen, is preaching just for the middle classes?
Just for the middle classes to do, you mean?
To receive, sit and listen.
Yeah, the way we do... if you do a talk for half an hour, that's going to benefit people who are from an educated background, who've been through either private school, grammar school, or good comprehensive. They've gone on to university. That usually suits those kind of people. If you've grown up in East End Park, if you've grown up in some areas all around the country that are on the margins of society, it may not benefit them as much. That's my experience. So when we do our service here, we do have people talking, but they talk for maybe 5 to 10 minutes rather than a good half an hour talk. And the problem is they can't always remember what you've said. You know, if you talk for half an hour, if you keep it short, snappy, I think it can be a lot more effective.
Controversial question for you here.
Go for it.
Is that because these people are so messed up with drugs and drink that they can't comprehend it, or because they're just not as clever as other people?
There's no doubt that if you fall into addiction, it's going to affect how much you can take in. So yeah, we need to be. One of the reasons why we prioritise action is we need to see people dealing with these things that are very deep rooted. So if you look at Spacious Places, that's one of the projects that I kind of work with. They look at finding the triggers to people's addictions so they can deal with it, and all the hurts that have gone on in their lives. And when that has come through, and when people can deal with their addictions, they can be in a much better place to hear the message of Jesus. So yeah, I'd say it can hinder you, but we can make a lot of progress as well.
Mate, you are awesome. Thank you so much for facilitating me in particular. God bless you, brother. Thank you.